Family, it's the one and only Gina Ifoe, the African superstar, back at it again. I have a quick message for you tonight. So, first and foremost, big shout outs to uh, my members only supporting this platform on a monthly basis. They get behind the scenes videos, privy to new music first, and et cetera, et cetera. Also, if you're interested in coming to Ghana, which I know a lot of you are interested in coming to Ghana, please let me facilitate your private tour. Also, if you have questions about Ghana, you need help moving, you need consultations, you need whatever, I'm available. Please get in touch with me, africansuperstar@gmail.com. That's African with a K, superstar@gmail.com. Big shout outs to the family. Yes, I see you guys coming in the room. So please do the necessary. I'm not going to be with you long tonight. As you can tell, it's late. And yes, what's up, Fly KM? I see you, the first one in the building. Thank you so much. Guys, when you come into the room, just hit the likes. Simple. You know, when I come live, it's an interactive thing. So please play your part. Tonight, I want to say so we should stop our pursuit of freedom because of difficulties. One thing that has remained consistent throughout my journey as I've relocated to new countries, as I've explored Africa, as I've been vocal about a lot of things that our people encounter and deal with in the Western world, is this retort of, but it's difficult, it's expensive, it's hard. You know, this, that. People essentially telling me, give up on your freedom, you know, give up on your dreams, give up on the pursuit of your happiness. I can't tell you how many times I've told people how I feel when I'm in Ghana, for instance, how it's better for me, how it's better for my health, it's better for my skin, it's better for my mental health, it's better for my social life. The quality of the food that I eat is better. You know, just everything is better. And it's met with, but this, but that. I was having a conversation today with a fellow Ghanaian, a really good friend of mine. Please hit the likes, guys, if you're in the room. I'm going to come through and read your messages, but please do the likes first. Okay. So I was having a conversation with a really good friend, and, you know, they were just kind of, I mean, it's very common. I'm constantly promoted by friends, family, and other people to just settle in the Western world. You know, that is the popular, notion. That's what most everyone is doing. Some people have tried to, go to the motherland or leave the Western world, move to foreign countries, and they haven't had success, and they've had to, go back, recalibrate, so on and so forth. Other people, like the person I was talking to, they have a lot of responsibility. This person has several children, has a spouse, has a lot of weight on them that I don't have. Hello. Yes, I'm single, no children, you know what I'm saying, doing my own thing, living my own life. So I have a freedom in a way. I have a what's the right word? I have a fluidness to me that some people don't have, because they do have a lot of things that would kind of restrict them from just hopping up and doing what they want to do. But my question to the critics is, because of the difficulties, I should just hang it up. I should just do what everyone else is doing, even though I know that I have options, even though I know that in other settings I'm having more success, more happiness, more progress, et cetera, et cetera. Am I supposed to just do what y'all do? Does it make you feel better to clip my wings, to encourage me to go through this minutia that you're not even happy with? If you if you were honest, you know what I mean? Like, you're not happy with it. And I think overall, our people in the Western world, let me speak for myself specifically, a lot of people are unhappy, but just unaware of options. They have been told their entire lives that, it's a privilege to live in Europe, it's a privilege to be in Canada, it's a privilege to live in Australia. Some people that are first, second generation, coming from immigrant families, a lot of us will get your privilege to be in this country. You're privileged to have that passport. You're privileged, blah, 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 blah. But the reality of that privilege doesn't necessarily align with our day to day reality. Hello. It doesn't align with our finances. It doesn't align with our mental health. It doesn't align with our social lives. We're told, hello, we're told that we're privileged. Americans are told that they're privileged. But when we look at how we actually live, one might struggle to actually detect the privilege in a lot of areas, especially if you're a Black American. Now don't get me wrong, there's tiers to Americanness. For those of you guys that don't live in America or have never lived in the Western world, a Black British is not treated the same as a white British. A Black American is not treated the same as a white American. There's levels to this. So, the experience of a white American, for instance, is different than the experience of a Black American. So when we actually analyze and look at the quality of our lives, where is the privilege? Where is the privilege? Am I supposed to give up on my pursuit of happiness and just settle on in because of the difficulties? I mean, you have to think about prolific people of the past. This happened to prolific people of the past. Every time someone wanted to invent something new, every time someone developed new technology or had a different perspective or was discovering things or innovating things, the masses told them, we don't do it like that. That's not how we do it. You'll never be successful. That's impossible. You're stupid. You're crazy. You're a witch. That's what the masses said. That's what the masses said to every innovative leader, every revolutionary person, every outspoken, freedom fighter, those prevailing for justice, always met with the same response from the same people. And so, although this question is rhetorical, because obviously the answer is no. The answer is we shouldn't stop our pursuit of freedom because of the difficulties. Everything is hard. Even being a coon is hard for them, I reckon. Settling, you know, keeping quiet, forcing yourself into the box, you know, living a mundane life. All of it is hard. All of it is difficult, So, in my opinion, it's better to live on your feet than die on your knees. It's better to, die trying. 50 Cent got this saying, get rich or die trying. I'm going to go out there and try my hand at the life and future that I want. I'm not deterred by the difficulties. I may be delayed by difficulties sometimes. I may have to recalibrate. I mean, that's a reoccurring theme, and leaders know this. The path is wrought with a lot of obstacles, a lot of distractions, a lot of setbacks, a lot of situations that you may not necessarily know how things are going to all come together. But I can tell you on the other side of difficulty is the sweetest gratification you could ever taste and enjoy. I'm telling you, when I celebrate moments, the high moments in my life, there is no other sensation like it. It's literally, I don't do drugs, but I would parallel it to that kind of high. That you just feel on top of the world. You just feel, invincible. You feel proud. You feel accomplished because you prevailed against a lot of things. Do we have any athletes in the room? Hello. If we have any athletes in the room or former athletes, former sportsmen or women, let me see a number one, please. I'm going to give this analogy and then I'm going to come through and read your comments. So if you want to greet me, please do it in the chat room. Make sure you support our stream. You can support in a tangible way. Please leave comments, be a part of the conversation. Should we stop our pursuit of freedom because it's hard? Should we stop it because our friends don't like it? Should we stop it because someone else failed? Huh? Should we stop it because it's not popular? Should we stop? Should we just say, let me throw in the towel? Should we stop because maybe we didn't have success on our first, second, third go round? Some of you guys have had one, two, three marriages, failed marriages. You've had baby daddy, baby mama drama. You've had legal troubles. You've had financial trouble. Did you stop? You've gotten fired from jobs. Did you say, "Oh my God, I got fired from the job. That's just it. I'll just never earn any money ever again. I'm going to be homeless now. I'm going to be destitute. Okay, that man left me. Oh well, I'll never have another man in my life ever again. You know, I got fat. Oh well, let me just throw in the towel." I mean, why take the perspective of stopping something that is so essential? I mean, for me, I can't speak for all of you. For me, freedom is the paramount thing. There's nothing that I cherish more in my life than freedom. The freedom to be me, the freedom of movement, the freedom to live in society with less restrictions, less judgments, less, hindrances from day to day. I've tasted what that's like in the motherland. And I'm going to use all my resources. I'm even going to attain more resources or find means and ways to experience that sensation as much as possible. Okay. So first trivia question was, do we have any athletes or former athletes in the room? Let me see a number one in the chat room. Okay. The analogy I want to give is the analogy of the underdog. Okay, if you're a former athlete, you've played basketball, you've played football, you've played, volleyball, you've run track, whatever it is, you know how it works to be the underdog. The underdog is the team, that is statistically slated to fail. They don't have the famous players. They've had a poor record this season, or their star players out injured, or the other team is more decorated. The other team has the big players, has all the money, all the bets. Everybody believes in this other team. Okay, and out of nowhere, the underdog comes out. Okay, for a tremendous and incredible win. If you've ever been that underdog, that's the sensation I can liken to winning against all odds. And you can only get that sensation, guys, if you persist through the difficult times. Okay, a lot of people modern day are afraid of hard things, and they put themselves in unnecessary situations because they won't just face the music. As a leader, I'm not deterred by difficult decisions. I realize that at times difficult decisions need to be made for the greater good. And for me, I believe that in certain instances, now, there are certain instances where you do need to, you do need to, rethink going in that direction, because the friction is actually trying to communicate to you that this is not the way that you need to go. There are other things that you just need to be resilient, to know, to continue through those journeys. And what you'll need to decipher between a situation you don't need to continue and a situation that you need to continue is wisdom. You need reasoning abilities to be able to tell the difference. But freedom is worth it, in my opinion. Freedom is worth persisting for. Seriously, it's worth going up against all the odds. If we're talking about migrating to the continent, which is what obviously I've done and what I talk a lot about, there was nothing more sweet to me than, actually completing my move to Ghana. And what is more sweet is the longevity that I enjoy in Ghana. Those that doubted me or thought that I wouldn't be capable to have that longevity, as the years go by and I continue to be in Ghana, it gets sweeter and sweeter. You know what I mean? And it becomes a mystery to those that don't have the tenacity or just not in a position to come. Like I said, my friend I spoke to has a whole family to consider, several kids, a spouse. It's not just about them when they want to make decisions. So it is what it is. But to those of us that have determined and identified what advantages we have, then you just need to make the most of the advantages that you have. In my opinion, I have a lot of disadvantages. I do have a lot of disadvantages. I'm not rich. I don't have a lot of, high connections, high social connections, and all these things in Ghana. I've definitely made connections. I've definitely made my imprint, but I'm not up there with like the leadership of the country or the most wealthiest families or most influential people. I have a lot of disadvantages. I'm a woman. Some of you will say that's not a disadvantage. Well, I mean, in a man's world, sometimes it is. People don't take you seriously. People try to try you. People try to take advantage. People disregard what you're saying. Some people think you're vulnerable. Some people think that you're stupid. People try a lot of things when you're a woman. So, I have what I would identify as a lot of disadvantages. In addition to that, I have to deal with the negative stereotypes of coming from the Western world. Those of you guys that live in America, you may not know that in the international community, everyone thinks Americans are stupid. They think we are untraveled, which, I mean, in many cases, the stereotypes are very true. They also widely think our leadership is out of control. You know, they think that the violence in America is out of control, which I agree. The racism in America is out of control, which I agree. You know, a lot of our ideologies are crazy and toxic. And so when you go into the international community as someone who's lived in America, you have to put up with people's perceptions. When I moved to England, they had this perception that I was going to be a party girl, that I smoke weed, that I've got tattoos all over my body, that I've got umpteen kids. They were shocked to find out I'm a world traveler and don't have children and very intellectual. It was not what they were expecting from me because I came from America. So all these things I have at play that could be considered disadvantages, in my opinion. But I still go on. I still go and create my path. I still do what I need to do because I don't care. Freedom is the paramount thing. It's worth persisting for. Okay, it's worth, you're going to get stupid comments on your videos if you're in social media. You're going to get little slick comments from your friends. You're going to get people, maybe heckling you or discouraging. It's worth you persisting through those things. You're going to sit down with yourself sometimes and you're going to have to, try to construct the way for it because you don't know the way for it. Everybody around you is not doing it or they're not genuine. You may not have the resources. You may not know. One of the biggest challenges for members of the diaspora going to Africa is income. You're going to have to figure out, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my family? How am I going to, it's a lot. It's a lot. But, but it is a worthy cause because if you're actually able to attain it, you know, it's an extraordinary thing. It's an extraordinary thing to be free. And so many of our people don't know what it feels like. Some of you guys do. Some of you guys have tasted a bit of freedom. so far, and you know how sweet it is. A lot of our people don't know and never will know. For the first step of it is the awakening, which is when you realize that you have actually been lied to about being free. You actually don't have freedom. You can't be yourself unapologetically. You can't say what you want to say. In some settings, you can't wear what you want to wear. Hello. The laws in a lot of these Western nations prohibit you from speaking the truth because the truth is offensive to a lot of people. We have an identity crisis among our people. People don't know their heritage, they don't know their genders. And you can't tell them about it. In the UK, you can discipline your kids. You know, if you discipline your kids, you're subject to legal issues. So, you see, when you awaken and you realize, wow, I'm not free. These people are dictating everything that I do. They've dictated my past, they're dictating my present, and they've projected my future. And they've created the system whereby I'm just another piece of the pie and I can't break out. And that's what some of you guys are experiencing when you realize that you're not really free and you say, you know what, bump this. I'm about to go to Ghana. I'm about to go to Kenya. I'm out of here. I'm moving to Puerto Rico. You try to make the moves and you realize, oh my God, I've got all this debt. I've got, these loans. I've got this, that. I've got the mortgage. I can't, my kids, this, that. You realize that you're anchored in. And it takes strategy to undo a lot of the anchors that we have been promoted to create. One of the first anchors that we get encouraged in is student loans. A lot of people go straight to university after they graduate. They're taking loans before they even financially understand what it means. And student loans are federal, which means even if you try to get out of them, any way you try to get out of them, if you try to file bankruptcy or whatever, you are liable for those loans and they can impact you, as you are there, your credit and all those type of things. The next thing that they promote you to do is the mortgage. I mean, the mortgage actually by definition, it's a French word. If you don't know what it means, go look it up. Okay, it means until death. That's what more is short for mortality, life. Engage means a commitment, a bond. So together, the word means until death. And that's what a mortgage literally means. And these are some of the first financial decisions that people make without the long term understanding of it because these things anchor you there. When you take a 30-year mortgage, that means you have to be gainfully employed for 30 years. You have to be, in effect, stationary for 30 years because you bought this house. You owe the bank, okay? And the bank can take legal action against you if you don't pay. The bank can take the house back. The bank can kick you out, okay? And so many people, because we're promoted to do higher education. We're promoted to be homeowners. I mean, they have strategically marketed the American dream in conjunction with mortgages. So you have so many people that feel like they're inadequate because they're not living the American dream. They don't have the steady job, the corporate job. They don't have the mortgage. It's not even so much about family. It used to be, the two kids and the dog and the picket fence and the husband or wife. It's not about that anymore. And these things are seriously anchors to a place which impede on your freedom. Hello. It impedes on your freedom. Some of you guys right now, you want to pick up and go. You want to travel. You want to explore the world. You can't. You're up under all them bills. You're up under that mortgage. You can't just, if you were to move abroad, you're worried about what am I going to do with this house? What am I going to do with this car? You know, I want to pick up and go, but I have all this debt. I don't have any savings. I don't have, you see, so in my opinion, I've gone on a tangent. I'm getting ready to come through. Please hit the lights, guys. Shout out to my moderators. I know y'all's in there. I know y'all in there doing what you're supposed to do. Thank you. But freedom is the paramount thing. Okay, don't let anybody become a stumbling block between you and your freedom. Go for it. You know, go for it. It may take you a few times. It may take you a year or two or several years to work it all out. It's worth it on the other side. It's a level of satisfaction that very few things can give you. There's like literally nothing as satisfactory as freedom. Seriously. So big shout out to the African superstar family. All right, let me get into this chat room. Hello. If you guys are happy to see me there, make sure you send in the likes, please. Big shout out to the African superstar family. Love Clyde KM is the first in the chat room. I see you there, sweetheart. Big shout outs to you. What's up, Kayla Bradshaw? I see you. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up? Arush, yes, I'm sure about that. I don't even know what you're referring to, but yeah, I don't talk. I talk very, very clear and concise. So yes, I'm sure about what I'm saying. What's up, Opulence? Big shout outs to you. It's good to see you too. Thank you for being in the chat room today. Opulence, I see you there. Big shout out, Sweetberry. Hi, sweetheart. Kimberly Adams, big shout outs to you. Much love to the African superstar family. The homie, hey, what's up, man? It's good to see you. ATM Tim, I see you there. Yes, family. Opulence, thank you so much for such a lovely compliment. You're definitely an inspiration to me. I'm a Black British woman, Windrush in London, but heading to Africa, Mozambique next month for my discovery trip. Happy travels to you, sweetheart. And you know, we all have to start somewhere, and I'm happy that you're here with us on the platform, and I'm happy to be motivating to you because freedom is the paramount thing. That's what we're talking about tonight. Don't let anything get between you and your pursuit of freedom. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? Man of Steel, I don't know. This is the first time I've actually seen you in my chat room. So, no, you can't just become a moderator like that. But shout outs to my moderators who have the wrench next to their name. They are in blue, like ATM Tim and Duffly KM. Yes, much love to you guys. Freedom is the paramount thing, guys. I'm not going to talk your head off about it because I think it's very self explanatory. Freedom is the paramount thing. And more specifically to my peers, you know, Black people around the world, members of the diaspora. Don't let anybody discourage you from exploring this world, going to the continent. If you are someone who has had that vibe, that communication through your soul, you know, it's intuitive that you go. You know, something's telling you to go, something's leading you there. Something, everybody doesn't get it. There are some people that are content with their environment. There's some people that are so aloof they don't even know what's going on. But for some of us, you get that sensation. Like, I was restless before I ventured to the continent back in 2016. I was restless. You know, I knew that there was something for me on the continent, and I felt that I had been delayed in attaining it and being aware of it. And when I went my first trip, I was like, oh my God, I knew it. 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 You know, and that has been my resolution ever since. And I think that's why I'm very defiant when it comes to my decision in particular with Ghana. It's like, I'm certain, I have no doubts of where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm going to fight for that. You know, I think many members have had their setbacks on their journeys, or they've had, you know, a myriad of things have happened on people's journeys. But I've committed that I'm going to make it work because at the end of the day, what alternatives do you have? What alternatives to freedom do you have anyway? I mean, once you've experienced it, can you go back into walking the line, can you? Big shout outs. What's up? What's up, Dahomey? Much love to you, honey. Thank you so much for that generous super chat. Wow, much love to you. Dahomey sent me a nice super chat. Thank you. You must be feeling this message. I'm glad. I'm glad because, like I told you, that sensation came on me tonight to talk about this topic on the channel. I haven't been live in a couple of weeks, I believe, and I came on because earlier today I was having that conversation, and a person, yeah, Ghana's so hard, and I don't know how you manage, and and I've had some of my other friends tell me, you need to come back, and you just need to settle here, and you're traveling a lot back and forth, and this, and I'm like, is it your money? Is it your time? Is it your situation? How does me traveling back and forth, how does that impact you in any way? I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining because I know that it's a part of the journey for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I tell you guys that. I tell you guys that consistently that in reality, if you spent your whole life growing up in the Western world, your whole family's in the Western world, your education, your kids, everything that you have built, it's highly unlikely that you're going to pick up and go to the motherland and just your feet's going to be planted on the ground like a tree. It's highly unlikely. Situations are going to happen that are going to require you to come back. Examples, family members, events. You know, some people have grandchildren that are getting born, or some people have deaths in the family, or some people have aging parents, ailing parents. You know, graduations, weddings, baby showers. Okay, your whole family's living in the Western world. Only you living in Ghana. Only you're living in Nairobi. Only you're living in Johannesburg. Okay, everybody else is overseas. Some people, health reasons is going to be the reason they come back. Depending on where you go and settle, healthcare may not be what it needs to be in your country. So I know plenty of people that come back to the UK once a year, do their annual screenings, or do treatments, do this, do that. These are the realities of this move at this time, guys. But second trivia question. First trivia was, have you been a former athlete? And the question was number one, if you have. Second trivia question. If, for instance, out of 12 months in a year, you are spending upwards of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months in your African environment, is it not better than nothing? Huh? Is it not better? When you lived in America, hello, you had 2 weeks of vacation every year. Some of you only had one. When you lived in the UK, you might have had about 4 weeks of vacation, annual leave, right? So if you move abroad and you're spending 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, you're spending 11 months out of the year, you're spending years at a time living in on the continent, and you don't, is that not better than that 2 weeks that you used to do? Since I moved to Ghana, hello, in 2020, the amount of time that I've actually, because I have that mind, okay, I'm always comparing this and that. So a lot of times I stop in the moment and I think to myself, if I were still living in the UK, if I were still living in America, compared to the way I'm living, unconventionally, nomadic, whatever you want to call it, how would this go? I literally travel for months at a time sometimes. I literally can leave Ghana and go to the US for the summertime, come to England for 2 or 3 months. When I was living in the UK, I could not do that. When I was living in America, I could not do that. I could only have a week or two off from my job. I literally just design my whole life how I want to do it, and to me, that is freedom, and that's what it's like. And it's lovely, to be able to just travel and just travel at whim and do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Go spend time with your family. I mean, recently, this month, I went and I spent a week in Ohio to visit my mom. And then I came back to the UK. I treated my sister to a birthday trip. I brought her to London for the week. You know what I'm saying? That's already that went on this month. Last month I was in Ghana, in January. You see what I'm saying? That's freedom. I've already in the second month of the year, I've had more vacation than those of you guys will have for the whole calendar year. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just making a point here. So, freedom is the paramount thing. It's worth you persisting for. Don't let these people that are in their situations impact the way that you go about what you go about. And actually, if you're serious about what you want to do, move in silence. You don't need them actually weighing in on your decision anyway. When you know the vast majority of people are only going to try to discourage you from doing what you're doing. They're only going to talk stuff about what they don't know, what they've never done. They're only going to project stereotypes and fear and negativity. You know what? I mean, we're grown. You on my channel, you are a grown up. And we know how people react to unconventional things. The vast majority of society is groomed in a particular way to be very similar and have similar outlooks on life. When you come along and you want to be, the god of your own world, and you want to call the shots and you want to make your own decisions, it's very avant-garde to people that are used to incorporating other people in their decision making or caring about what other people think about that. you know so free yourself from erroneous opinions. Damn, hold on, guys, my phone's about to die. Ooh. I gotta wrap up. All right, family, let me finish these last couple of comments and then I gotta wrap up. Big shout outs again to the homie for that very generous super chat. Kobe Jack Corgi says they just missed you or they are worried. That's okay, but still. ATM Tim, former athlete, the sensation of being an underdog. I talked about it earlier in this episode. If you missed it, you'll have to get the playback. But I talked about how sweet it is when all the odds are against you and you overcome as an athlete, as an underdog competitor, and that's how it feels when you get to the other side of the difficulties that are trying to prevent you from your progress. You have to be resilient in many ways to get that sweet sensation. So yes, big shout outs to you. Opulent says I've accepted I'll be coming back to London annually. Like I said, and I'm going to wrap up after this. Like I said, I mean, this is part of our journey as diasporans, realistically. We have our entire networks in these environments. It's just naive to think that, I mean, I do recognize I've met people in Ghana that have just gone and settled and never ever traveled back. One of my really good friends, Dr. Carnita Groves, she's been in Ghana consistently for like, I believe, over 12 years, I think 12 or 14 years. She's literally never gone back to Colorado. That's where she lived. She's stuck it out. Me, I'm averaging 2 or 3 trips a year, realistically. Usually I come to the UK a few times a year and I may go to America once a year, you know, and that's what it is. My mom's in America. As much as I dislike going there, she's there. She's there until she's not there. And I need to see my mom. You know what I'm saying? I need to see my sister. She's currently based there. I need to do things in the UK. This is what I would regard my foreign base. I was working and living in the UK before moving to Ghana. I've been out of the US for a really long time now, 9 years. So, I'm much more adapted to life in Europe. So that's part of the journey, and I'm okay with that. Does it deduce from my journey? Does it deduce from what I'm doing? No. It's a luxury to be able to come and go, actually. Hello, it's a luxury. They might be like, well, why you always come? They wish they could. They wish they could just hop up and go. They wish they could say, I'm not going to do winters in the UK. I'm going to be in Ghana. I'm going to be in Gambia this year. I'm going to be in Nairobi. It's too cold for me. I'm going to be in SA. They wish they could. And to some of you, I know that you're struggling to figure out the way out. It takes time. I didn't just pick up and move to Ghana. It took a long time for me to be able to organize myself and work things out. But what you got to take away from this message in particular is that it is worth it. It is worth me pushing, because I pushed so many times, against this and that. And it's all worth it, you know? And you have some byproducts of it that's even sweet, like silencing your doubters. Like, that's just a byproduct. That's not the sole reason you're doing what you're doing, but that's a byproduct. Because they have so much commentary. And when you are successful in what you're doing and you're living a good life and it shows, they get quiet. What can they say? What can they say at that point? All right. Much love to the African Superstar family, guys. If you're new to my channel, please make sure you subscribe. You guys were on point with the likes today. Much love to the family. I see this topic. Y'all was feeling this. I think y'all needed it today. Huh? Y'all needed it today. That's why the ancestors like, Gina, go do this topic, because it's late at night. Y'all see I'm quiet and stuff. But it's a necessary topic to keep you strong on your journey. We're still in a new year. And I know some of you guys have New Year's resolutions. Some of you guys still talking about y'all gonna come to Africa. Y'all been talking about it for a long time. I don't know. But you can still achieve, like, it's never too late, like, seriously. You might need to put your foot down and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I remember where was it? I think I was on an airplane the other day. And I started mapping out the next 6 months, like specifically down to the day. I started breaking down every day what I need to be doing to get these goals, because I've just made some very serious goals that I need to achieve this year, and I'm not letting it go. And I've already had some battles. Let me say, I've had to go toe to toe with some people already this year. And sometimes I would just be, because I'm not a contentious person. I don't like fighting. I don't like arguing. It drains me sometimes to have to push and push. But I told myself this year, Gina, you just got to do it. Like, do not accept distractions and disruptions from your plan, because you need to achieve them. Time is going by every day, guys. you know, and you need to get serious about this stuff, and you need to make this stuff happen. And then, I know I said I was wrapping up. One final point. You see, when it comes to the continent, right, the truth is the early bird gonna catch the worm. Okay, guys? Day by day, the continent is becoming more popular to the mainstream. Okay. With the latest phenomenon was this I Show Speed. Okay, I Show Speed went to Africa, toured about 20 countries, I believe, and he provided a lot of exposure. He has a platform of, I believe, like 55 million, or it might be more than that now. Do you realize how many more people are about to get onto this African, gravy train? Do you understand? The stock just went up. Okay, there's a lot of people that now are inquiring, now going to be traveling. The prices are about to go up, guys. The land is going to go up, the housing is going to go up, the resources is going to go up. If you ain't trying to get into this now, huh? You ain't trying to like start figuring things out, you might ultimately get priced out. It might come to the point where you can't even get in anymore, and you're just going to be stuck in the West at that time. What's up, Eugene? Yes, it's the grandmother of Ghana. Big shout out to you at the same. How you doing? Kobe Jack says Mr. Beast. I saw that Mr. Beast became a developmental chief. Whatever. I'm not particularly a big fan of Mr. Beast, but you know, it is what it is. Across the continent, money talks, and money has no race across the continent. But definitely, I mean, he's not doing anything that his ancestors ain't been doing. His ancestors been bribing, been paying, been doing this, been doing that to get advantages on the continent and actually around the world. So, this it kind of ties into my message because I'm telling you guys that the window of opportunity is right now. If you keep playing with it and you keep prolonging, it's going to get to the point where it's going to be beyond your reach, you know? And I don't want that for you guys because I believe that the continent is the last area of freedom for us. It's actually the only area of freedom for us. We have to deal with so much nonsense worldwide, and it's the only place of refuge for our people. And I don't want you guys to miss out, but ultimately it's up to you. It's up to you. If freedom is the paramount thing to you the way it is for me, and you realize what time it is, do you know what time it is? Tell me, do you know? Then you know it's now or never. It's do or die. That's it. It's right here, right now. Because there is no other place that offers us a refuge from these people. Seriously. There's no other place where we don't endure the racism, where we don't endure the police brutality, where we don't have, where we are the majority, where we can be free, where we can just go and do whatever we want to do. Nobody's going to be asking us questions and this and that and the other. We can just be free. There's no other place. So, if it's important to you, then just cut out all the noise and all the distractions and hone in and go for it. Okay, they don't, you got all these FBA people talking nonsense, distracting you. Listen, who cares? Stop going back and forth with them in the comments. They're irrelevant. Okay, they're indigenous and they're standing their ground and let them do what they gotta do. Okay, let them do what they gotta do, and you do what you gotta do. Okay, your parents, your family, your boyfriend, your best friend, your colleagues at work, they don't agree. Your friend at the gym, somebody in your Facebook, they all got stuff to say. Who cares? Go for your freedom. Go for your freedom now while it's available. Okay? Go for your freedom. Don't be distracted. Do you think those people in the Underground Railroad that they cared about the folks that was staying on the plantation? They was like, Jimmy, don't go. Massa gonna get you. Massa gonna pop a cap up in your ass. Massa gonna lynch you on that tree. Jimmy, don't go. Jimmy said, nigga, we riding. We riding at sunrise. We going. I don't care. He said, I'd rather die out there off this plantation. I'd rather die running away or trying to make it than stay here on this plantation with y'all. And I know what it's going to be. I know that what it's going to be day after day. I'd rather take my chances out there pursuing my freedom. There's, I don't agree with it necessarily, but there's the migrants that take the sea, the migrants that take the desert to go to Europe. In their mind, they have resolved that, I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to take this huge risk. I might die. I'm going to cross the Sahara. I'm going to get into the Mediterranean Sea or whatever they do. Freedom, the pursuit of freedom is the paramount thing, and you need to wrap your mind around it. Okay. So anyway, guys, I have talked much longer than I planned. I only planned on being with you guys for 30 minutes, but you guys have been an excellent audience. Much love to the African Superstar family. I really miss you guys. I will be trying to come a bit regular, but like I said, I'm just busy traveling. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot in my personal life. So I'm not always available for social media because I'm the real kind. Hello, I'm not the fake one. I'm the real kind. Yes, but I will try to visit you guys more regularly. Special shout outs to the homie for the first and only one and only super chat during this message. Big shout outs to all of you that were in the comments that was on code. Everybody who sent the likes. If this video impacted you at all, or you have friends that you think could benefit from this message, make sure you send it off. Okay, share these videos with your friends, someone who needs an encouraging word, someone who is also inquisitive about the motherland or traveling there. Send these messages on. Each one teach one. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys on your freedom journey. And again, if you're interested in Ghana, you want a tour in Ghana, you want a private tour guide, I come highly recommend it. Okay. I have several of our family members have come to see me in Ghana already, and we've no complaints. Everybody has had a wonderful time. I have hand facilitated their tour, picking them up from the airport and taking them around Ghana and taking them back to the airport. So if you're interested in touring with me, please get in contact with me, africansuperstar@gmail.com, and we can start planning your bespoke custom tour today. Much love to you guys. Until we meet again, hello. Stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.